Good morning everyone, today we're here to check out a brand new video from Dead Meat, the kill count for the 2024 movie Nosferatu. That's right, it's time for the remake of the retelling of Dracula. Now let's hop in and see just how many people were sucked dry onto the list. No, that was terrible and I am so sorry. Ooh, I owe James an apology for that. Let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm
Hey,
James
James
and today we're looking at Nosferatu, released in 2024. Nosferatu is a remake of the 1922 German silent film, widely considered to be the first vampire movie. I covered it on the Kill Count last year, and it performed shockingly well for a movie more than a century old. Probably because it came out right around the release of this remake, which was written and directed by Robert Eggers. His fourth film, after The Witch, The Lighthouse, and The Northman. Surprised this ain't called The Nosferatu. Like his first three movies, Eggers' take on Nosferatu emphasizes meticulous historical accuracy down to the finest detail. So much research went into this thing that I can only begin to scratch the surface. But our researcher Bella collected all of it, so I might as well plug one of our Patreon rewards. Access to a folder full of all the research Bella has accumulated for kill counts over the years. The document for this movie is huge, covering the costumes, the sets, the lighting, and every other aspect of the film. It's all designed to transport you to another time and place. 1838 Wisborg, Germany, the same fictional port town from the original. This remake is actually a remarkably accurate retelling of the original film, just with a whole lot more violence and sex, especially sex. In fact, this Nosferatu is entirely about sex. That's what makes me love it so much, the way it engages with its overarching theme. This is a tale of a sexually frustrated woman in a time when that simply wasn't allowed. She truly loves her husband and wants him to satisfy her, but he's unable to because he feels emasculated at his job. While he's off trying to prove himself as a caretaker, she's lured in by a voracious undead vampire who tempts her with all the neck biting she could ever want. At least that's my preferred reading of the film, and I think there's a lot of evidence for it.
He's coming.
There's also a reading that has to do with sexual abuse and grooming. Way less fun, but equally valid, and I'm not gonna say any interpretation of this thing is wrong. It can be viewed through many lenses. All of them can be correct. That's one of the things that makes good art good. It also helps that the movie is absolutely stunning, drenched in gothic atmosphere, incredible costuming, and lovingly constructed scenery. Bill Skarsgård's Count Orlok is striking in both his appearance and overall presence, and the
wait. Isn't that the same guy that played Pennywise? Ben Skarsgård? Wow, okay.
The rest of the cast is well suited to the gothic tone and old-timey dialogue. This is not a movie made for the masses, so it was inevitably a bit divisive. But if you can get on Eggers' wavelength and let the dreary undead waves wash over you, it's a captivating experience that'll leave you equal parts horrified and aroused. How many blood bags will bite the big one when the Count comes to town? How many blood bags will bite that? Zoran, that's her cue, dude.
Oh, shit, I'm so sorry.
Zoran.
Turns out my brother is actually really sick, so I'm sorry. Yeah, it's okay. I'm just trying to figure out a time to take him to the sea to make him well.
Like to a doctor by the ocean?
No, to the sea to make him well.
I think you need more than the sea to make someone well. I think you need a medically trained professional doctor. And you can find one with the help of today's sponsor, ZocDoc. How many blood bags will bite the big one when the Count comes to town? Let's find out and get Nosferatu the kills.
That seemed like a bit of a stretch, but it was.
The movie begins with a quiet prayer. A young Ellen, overcome with loneliness and desperate for company, calls out to any and all forces that might be listening.
You awaken me from an infernal darkness.
A deep voice answers her in Dacian, a dead language resurrected by this undead presence. He tells her that she doesn't belong to the world of the living before appearing as a silhouette that floats her into the air. He wants her. She wants him, maybe. Nosferatu. She's levitating. He floats her ass outside while saying she'll be with him ever eternally. It causes her to moan orgasmically.
There it goes.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, she into choking? Or maybe not. Ellen convulses as the score crescendos and we sink into a tunnel car. Hell of an opening. Years later, just years, Ellen is now Ellen Hutter, newly married to Thomas Hutter. She wants the honeymoon to last forever, but Thomas has to get back to work. Come on, dude, pet that pussy. I mean, it's such a cute kitty. Why wouldn't you want to stay and snuggle it? Ellen wishes he would. Instead, he rushes to work through the streets of Wisborg looking like Bob Cratchit, which fits since this is technically a Christmas movie. No, seriously, it is. It takes place over the holiday and was even released on Christmas Day. But Thomas doesn't work for Scrooge and
cool.
Marley. He has a new position at Canuck and Associates Estate Agents. Even though he's late, his boss, Eric Canuck, is in a good mood, laughing like he just heard an amazing Canuck joke. He assigns Thomas to a new account. Account. He'll be selling a house in Visborg to Count Orlok, an aging nobleman from the Carpathian Alps.
He has one foot in the grave, so to speak.
Thomas will have to travel there to make the deal in person.
He insists we offer him an agent in the flesh.
Man, everything this guy says should set off alarm bells. I mean, no one should be this obsessed with Rhode Island's capital.
Providence.
But Thomas is convinced to ignore the red flags.
He only said it twice.
If he succeeds, he'll secure a permanent position at the firm. That would be great for his new bride, whom Canuck refers to with all sorts of words I don't understand.
A nonpareil. Almost a
Nonpareil?
sylph.
Oh, I might know sylph. Or is that an acronym? Thomas tries to break the news
No,
to
I got
Ellen
no
with
idea.
some flowers, but she finds the gesture lie lacking. Maybe lilies or roses would have done better. She begs him not to go, saying
It's
she had a
lilac.
horrible dream where she wound up marrying death and being really into it.
But I'd never been so happy as that moment. As I held hands with death.
Ah, Ellen.
Oh,
you
more
love
like
my
hell
chemical
throat.
romance. Instead of hearing her out, Thomas tells her to ignore her dreams and never speak of them again. There, all better now. The two of them go to the home of their kick-ass friend.
Why was that actually one of the most common things at the time? And it's like, well, I have no idea how that we can take care of this or cure it, so let's just not talk about it. Pretend it doesn't exist. And we wonder why so many people had so much medical issues that seemed undocumented.
And Friedrich Harding, who lives with his wife Anna and their two daughters, with another kid on the way. Dude's horny as hell for his wife.
Damn.
I cannot resist her.
But even though Ellen's just as horny for her mans, Thomas doesn't think he's worthy of fucking or fatherhood yet.
And when will you two?
You married her, so that means, yes, you are worthy. And you definitely thought so to go through every bit of the wedding and all that. Sorry, I don't know why I'm just getting a little agitated. I'm just gonna watch this.
I'm no longer a pauper.
No wonder he's so driven to do this deal for Canuck,
okay.
who spends the night acting even more outwardly evil than he was at work. Pretty accurate adaptation of the original, though. Canuck was always clearly crazy. But this time he's naked,
definitely.
too, doing a weird little guy ritual with a bunch of candles. Careful around all those flames, dude, or else you're gonna light the wrong wick. In the morning, Ellen pushes through and plays the part of a proud spouse. She apologizes for her flights of fancy and sends T-Man off with a locket containing some of her hair. He takes that reminder of her beauty as he travels through beautiful scenery. These absolutely
Off we go.
gorgeous shots come courtesy of cinematographer Jaron Blatchke, who's been the DP for all of Eggers' films. He spent a lot of time getting the lighting they wanted, sometimes doing complicated calculations to figure out the best way to simulate sunlight for daylight scenes. Other shots were lit using only real candlelight, Barry Lyndon style. Blatchke also worked with the set design, using moving walls and careful choreography to get some really cool active shots. Thomas rides to an inn where
That
a bunch
is
of
really
Romani
cool.
people are having a blast. That one dude's giving him a full Rodale Dorado treatment. And then there's this jolly motherfucker.
Yeah, it did kind of seem like that meme of the one guy holding up the loot and just going crazy at it before being slapped by his friend. Be like, you knock it off.
Are they
Laughing
laughing
in
at Thomas
Texas.
because he traded one Christmas Carol look for another with that tiny Tim-ass cap? Little tiny Tom? The innkeeper runs the Romani off and tries to send T-Man packing until he offers to pay double. An old woman inside tries to warn him off too, saying Count Orlok's shadow will trap him in a nightmare. Not sure if Thomas can't understand
Gotta
her
cover
or
you
if he
in the
just
night now.
ignores her warning like he did his wife's, but either way, he's too hell-bent on that paycheck to turn back now. That night, Thomas is drawn outside by a hunting party led by a girl on a Lady Godiva ride.
Okay.
T-Man follows and peeps by torchlight from a tree as the villagers dig up a grave. They unearth a friggin' vampire, and they stake that undead mofo to make him dead and add him to the count. Thomas cries out from his hiding place, earning a dirty look and a hard cut to morning, making him briefly think it might have all been but a dream. But the boots muddying his bed indicate otherwise. Too bad he can't ask anyone to know for sure. The whole place cleared out overnight.
Oh, damn.
My horse!
And his horse gone too! He
Damn
hoofs
it.
towards the castle on foot, which takes him all day.
I got horse jacked.
into a snowy night. Eggers refused to use CG for the snowy scenes. He argued that if they could make it snow in films from the 1940s, like Queen of Spades, they should be able to do it practically now as well. The method used back then involved potato flakes that aren't made anymore, so they wound up tracking down all the remaining supply in Europe to make this film. Thomas is approached by a black carriage, whose black stallions nearly add him to the count. But don't worry, dude, they're just here to offer you a ride. Must be one of them Waymo carriages. The automatic doors and no driver. It's a great spooky sequence, although part of me does miss Orlok driving it himself and just pretending he was a different guy. The unearthly Uber takes Thomas to Castle Orlok while wolves snarl after them all the merry long way. At the castle, T-Man finds a cranky count waiting for him.
You are late.
Apologies, so my horse was...
The midnight hour has paused.
He's led up a spiral staircase
my
that the
horse
count
was taken.
seems to disappear from, only to reappear in a room with an amazing fireplace. Too bad the host ain't as warm as the hearth.
I wish you to do as I request.
Despite the late hour, Orlok demands Thomas settle in for a midnight snack and real estate chat. He also demands Thomas drink, but I'm sure he's not dumb enough. Oh, come on, man. You've got to realize you're making a sale to a vampire. I mean, he's moving way quicker than a man of poor health should, seeming to teleport from place to place. During dinner, Thomas cuts his finger on a bread knife.
Ow! Damn it.
I might ease your wound.
No, that's okay. Wait, did he say ease or eat? Not sure what was in the drink
What the hell
bowl I
did he
gave
just
him,
say?
but Thomas starts seeing statues move like that weird dream sequence in Terrifier 3. Orlok stares him down too. One look and he can't disguise, he's got hungry eyes. This version of Count Orlok is a completely original design, from his physical appearance to his wardrobe. The clothes were provided by costume designer Linda Muir, another Eggers mainstay who's worked on all 3 of his previous films. She dressed Orlok in the garb of a Transylvanian nobleman from the 16th century. He's got a grand cloak to hide his decaying body, horseshoe-heeled shoes you can hear as he walks up the stairs, and a big old furry hat called the Kolpak. She referenced paintings, illustrations, and garments from museums to craft the perfect Count Couture, all of which helped Bill Skarsgård get into character.
This works. The coat looks good in this.
Yeah. Just as much attention is given to the rest of the cast's costumes, with an emphasis on historical accuracy as well as the characters' lifestyles. For example, Friedrich and Anna are wealthy, so they dress more elaborately and have more costume changes than the comparably poor Hutters. Back in Visborg, Ellen and Anna are at the beach. They're at the graveyard? They're at the combination beach and graveyard, sure. Ellen confesses to feeling like she isn't a real person, but a puppet at the whim of some greater force. She says her heart is lost without Thomas, and then we get a borderline comedic cut to Thomas lying face down on the floor. He wakes up to an empty castle that's honestly pretty busted ass in the light of day. He checks out his reflection and sees a puncture wound right on the titty. In spite of the bite and, you know, everything else about this place, Thomas sticks around well into the night to finish making the sale. Anything to make that sale. After last night's job interview with the vampire, Orlok's drawn up a contract in a dead language. Thomas hesitates to accept the terms and conditions, but a bag of gold coins gets him scrolling for the accept button. As he signs who knows what away, Orlok checks out his locket. He's smelling Ellen all over it. She smells good. Thomas finishes the paperwork and is ready to finally ditch the creepy castle because he ain't feeling too hot. But Nosferatu refuses to let him travel in poor health. He leaves Thomas alone in the dark, without even Ellen's token for comfort.
You have my locket.
Nicholas Hoult is awesome as a put-upon man, a different shade of pitiful than his character in the menu. He called Eggers up after seeing The Witch, hoping to work with him one day. His performance in Yorgos Lanthimos' The Favorite convinced Eggers that he could handle the material. T-Man wakes up the next day all sweaty and sporting another mysterious bite on his breast.
What the hell?
Dude, you keep losing track of time. I'm wondering if you got concussed somewhere along the way. Tom wants to cruise out of here, but the castle's locked gates make that mission impossible. Every castle production scouted was too nice to shoot inside, since they needed something that looked like it was decaying and crumbling apart. They did shoot the courtyard and gatehouse scenes at Pernstein Castle in the Czech Republic, which Werner Herzog also used for his 1979 adaptation. Corvin Castle in Romania was also used for exterior shots, but again, the inside was too polished, thanks to recent renovations. So production designer Craig Lathrop literally built the inside of the castle from the ground up, with painted terracotta tiles placed on a sand floor so they would be authentically uneven, much to the frustration of the film's grips. Thomas wanders into a basement where he finds an ornate casket, and you gotta open those, you know? Inside is Count Orlok taking a nasty, dirty nap. He's literally with the maggots, mommy style. Tommy tries to kill him like he learned from the Romani.
Damn it, you almost had it.
Scared away by Orlok's overwhelming manhood instead.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, man, but the cucking theme is evident as hell here, as Orlok psychically hits on Ellen from afar.
Jeez.
The full frontal jump scare was a memorable moment in the film, and Eggers mailed
lost
the
his family.
prosthetic penis to Holt as a gift. He has it framed in his home. Orlok corners Thomas in his room and descends upon him, briefly twitching into Ellen's naked form as he does.
Oh, what the shit?
Maybe that's what Thomas still sees, because he'd be making some noises.
No,
This whole situation is downright
terrible.
Frankfurtian, honestly. Oh, Orlok, he wouldn't have. He'd never. Eggers wanted to avoid the classic cinematic tropes of the vampire, which he knew would be expected.
Basically, because vampires are pretty much no.
Well, then you definitely need to throw in the old lore of vampires that they have to count any loose grain thrown at them. So, reach into your pocket and pull out some pocket rice. That's actually a real thing. If you just take some grain and throw it on the floor, vampires have to stop and count every single grain.
Longer scary, thanks to the culmination of the cinematic vampire's evolution into Edward Cullen.
Instead, he referred to the monster's folkloric roots. In the early versions of the vampire myth that he encountered, the creatures didn't even drink blood. Instead, they sat on top of their victims, suffocating or fornicating them to death. When blood drinking did
Like a
enter the
succubus?
equation, it was from the chest. So that's why Orlok slurps his victims straight from the heart. To treat Ellen's sleepwalking, the Hardings call a doctor named Severs, played by Ralph Innocent, who previously
then.
chopped wood for Eggers in The Witch. He says her condition may have come from a sudden rush of too much blood. Kind of like when you get aroused. He prescribes that she sleep in a corset to calm her juices down or whatever. And they need to be calm. This chick is terminally horny.
He's coming to me. He's coming.
I would be awkward enough to get the hell out of that room.
Yeah, for now he'll just drug her, because ain't no one in this time period able to handle a woman this sexually in need. While his wife's getting the best medicine the 19th century has to offer, Thomas is chased by hellhounds straight out of a castle window and into a river. Horrible dive there, dude. From afar, Ellen can tell something's wrong and blames it on Canuck for sending Thomas in the first place.
I never liked that man.
Yeah, as well you shouldn't have. Neither should have Thomas or literally anyone with eyes. The guy was clearly an evil little gremlin.
Look at that guy.
Basically tells Ellen to stop being hysterical and, you know what, just sit by the ocean about it. Ocean fixes everything. Ocean gets him horny.
Friedrich in public.
Cannot resist you.
And so what?
Oh, poor Ellen's probably real jealous of Anna. In fact, she gets so upset, she has a shaky shoregasm of her
own.
Oh,
jeez.
No, that's just a seizure. And their doctor can't come with a corset to help because he's got a new patient who was just brought in. It's Canuck, showing off his creepy crawly collection and petting a pigeon before going full Ozzy on it.
Oh, my good fellow.
Poor bastard.
Why would you do that?
He says it's because his master is coming to town, and it's gonna be a real dead man's party when he does.
He shall reign over all of your empty corpses.
Fantastic
Well,
unhinged
damn.
performance from Simon McBurney as Canuck. He's a seasoned English actor who's been in The Theory of Everything and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Oh,
Severs heads
wow.
to the Harding house and
Okay,
finds Ellen
that's kinda
getting
cool.
worse. No matter how much they tighten that corset, Ellen's treatment by the doctor is sometimes more horrifying than the vampire stuff. So many women in real life, especially around this time, had their struggles with mental and physical health written off as female hysteria. And not just
Yep.
horniness either. Severs
all it
believes
is.
Ellen and Canuck's cases are
All it
connected
was.
since they both keep saying someone's coming.
Human sup.
One of them less moany than the other. He suggests they reach out to a Swiss professor named von Franz, a scientist turned occultist who was laughed out of his profession by his skeptical peers. Friedrich is also skeptical, so much so that he forgets he's a human being.
I'm a ship man.
Oh, really? Then where are your sails? Oh, right there, I guess. No, that must be the Impusa, the Nosferatu equivalent to the Demeter from the original Dracula novel. Remember, they renamed everything to try to make Nosferatu legally distinct?
Yeah.
It didn't work. The ship is currently carrying a crated vampire who spends the journey psychically sexting.
Moxinos Resca Ruambrasia.
He uses vampy
Oh,
magic
boy.
to speed up the winds and make the ship sail faster. It doesn't make a lot of sense and raises questions about his powers, but it's also in the original, and I think Eggers was really going for a faithful recreation here. While the original
Like
film
almost
saw
one
the
for
ship's
one.
crew killed by Orlok off screen, we see some on-screen death here. I'll start with 3 kills counted. This dead dude lying there, this dude puking blood, and a body they toss
Oof.
overboard later. One sailor blames their cursed cargo and heads below deck to put a stop to it. He opens the crate, and that's mice. Wait, that's not mice.
Mice?
It's rats that distract him just long enough to get bit by Orlok.
Damn it.
Also, just to note, these 4 are the only sailor deaths I'll be counting. They never explicitly say the entire crew dies in this movie, so I won't count all the other guys we saw. Maybe there was a lifeboat, you don't know. Thomas finally washes ashore, where he's found by a stick-collecting Romanian nun. She takes him back to her convent so the nuns can cleanse him of Orlok's influence, and he can show off that striation in his delts. Nice,
Damn.
dude. The nuns explain the count is centuries old and made a deal with the devil to preserve his soul and let his corpse walk again. They tell him to stay there where the vampire can't enter, but Thomas shirks the shield of holiness so he can get back to Ellen. Severs and Harding go to see Von Franz, and hell
He
yeah,
must
it's Willem
return.
Dafoe. Great way to inject extra energy into the second hour of this thing, with his little fez hat and opium hookah.
I'm sorry, did you say second hour? How long is this movie?
He greets Severs warmly and surmises their paranormal predicament. He heads to the Harding home, where he doesn't like their approach so far.
Untie this child at once.
He and Ellen hit it off, since they're both cat people, and because he, treats her like a person. I love how both this and Poor Things have Dafoe as an old guy who could have been creepy towards a troubled young woman, but instead he genuinely cares about and respects them. Ellen tells him she's always suffered from sleepwalking and psychic premonitions. She could even tell when her mother was going to die. As she got older, they got worse, and more frightening to her father, who I'm pretty sure found her masturbating.
Papa found me once laying, unclothed. I was. My body, my flesh. Sin, he said.
Things got worse when she wished for companionship, which we already know from that opening scene, where we saw her shaking and shit. When she married Thomas, the dream stopped and she started to feel normal. Or maybe she was just lying to herself and suppressing her needs, and that's why her symptoms have been getting worse lately. She thinks it's gotten bad because Thomas is gone, but deep down worries that it might be something wrong with her.
My dreams grow darker. Does evil come from within us or from beyond?
To find out, Von Franz waits for her to fall into a trance state, then stabs her through the arm with a needle. What the fuck, dude?
What the
Okay,
hell?
we get it. She's having an out-of-body experience. Still probably gonna feel that in the morning, though.
Yeah,
Ellen starts
no
talking
shit.
about darkness and death before repeating the same stuff Canuck said.
He's coming.
Sounds like she is, too.
Okay,
She
who
does a
is?
full Reagan backbend as her voice sounds more and more possessed.
Okay.
Everyone will cry. There will be none to bury the dead.
Ellen is played by Lily Rose Depp,
Damn.
whom the casting director was skeptical of, especially for the lead role. Eggers believed in her, though, and prepped her for an audition that wound up winning over any doubters.
Our love was supposed to be sacred. You never listened!
Her look and vocal performance fit the gothic theme.
Lily Rose Depp. I'm guessing this is the child of Johnny Depp. I'm only assuming that because of the last name Depp. I actually have no idea.
So well, to say nothing of the incredible physical
some
performance she
connection.
gives while possessed.
It was really cool to push my limits like that and see how far I could go.
Depp worked extensively with a choreographer to learn the Japanese dance discipline of Budo. It translates to dance of utter darkness and is about emptying yourself to allow something else in and move you. Something like a vampire. Von Franz tells the other men that Ellen is possessed by a demon, and he's not being metaphorical.
No, I mean a demon.
He tells Anna to keep an eye on her and Severs not to give her any more ether.
But she will rave all the night.
Then rave she must.
You heard me. No more ether.
In his
Who gave that old man glow sticks?
cell, a restrained Canuck calls out for help, looking like a rabid dog and biting like one too when a guard comes to check in on him. He scuttles off into the night and starts practicing to get a job at the Venetian. He's super pumped since his master is finally here, his ship having crashed into the port, which releases a metric fuck ton of rats into the city.
Rats.
2,000 live rats were used, contained with plexiglass for their safety, while background shots were filled in with digital rats. They were well trained to hit their
That's
marks,
fair.
but really stunk up the set since they wound up peeing and pooping everywhere. Sounds like fun. Canuck takes Orlok
That's
to his
the
new
downside.
abode and skitters around on all fours like a little weirdo. He offers to kidnap Ellen and bring her to him, but Orlok's no barbarian. He can't steal her. Ellen needs to willingly pledge herself to him. And she has no interest in that right now, since T-Man has returned. He rides up on and then falls off of a horse.
Whoa.
Ellen tends to her faithful man, even as the Hardings grow tired of her.
Why must you remain so exasperatingly contrary?
Because I am in the right.
But they've got to admit that something's wrong. Thomas is plagued by nightmares, and the town is plagued by
rats.
plague. We see 3 dead bodies in the background.
Plagued by the
Receiver
plague.
shows Von Franz a fourth. This one is covered in bites and drained of all its blood. The sight of it makes him finally realize what they're up against.
The vampire.
No, he didn't mispronounce it. That's actually how the original spelling was pronounced. A vampire, not a vampire.
And he ain't got time for Friedrich's skepticism.
I have seen things in this world that would have made Isaac Newton crawl back into his mother's womb.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe makes this dialogue his bitch. Having already worked with Eggers in The Lighthouse and The Northman, the beloved actor was eager to keep the streak going.
I adore Rob Eggers. When he asks me to do something, I'm gonna do it.
He's all
Unlike
in.
Sievers, who was a minor character in the original film, Von Franz is a new character, although he's basically a Van Helsing stand-in. Dafoe loved the part and was in good spirits when we interviewed him as part of the movie's press junket.
Dead meat?
He was also already familiar with Nosferatu. His role in Shadow of the Vampire, which was about the making of the original film, earned him an Oscar nomination. Eggers is no stranger to Nosferatu either. He's been a fan of it since he was a kid and played Orlok in a high school play based on the film. He's been trying to make his own version for over a decade, but is happy it took so long since it gave him time to hone his craft.
It would have been different. I think it would have been, possibly disastrous if it was greenlit the first time I tried to do it. But anyway,
Orlok looks out from his new abode and spreads his shadow over Visborg in an awesome homage to some of the shadowy shots in the original. Bill Skarsgård has always been part of Eggers' vision for Nosferatu, although he was originally intended to play Thomas Hutter. When he was cast as Orlok all these years later, he made sure to prepare, spending countless hours researching Romanian folklore and other important cultural touchstones.
I gotta bone up on my SpongeBob.
I
studied that for hours.
He worked with an Icelandic opera singer
awesome.
to develop Orlok's deep, resonant voice, and would practice Mongolian throat singing in between takes to keep it warm.
We're checking and we're shooting next time, please. It kind of just comes out of me like a deep guttural burp.
He'd also
Kind
warm
of
his voice
difficult,
up
though,
during
huh?
his hours in the makeup chair. Orlok's new design was a huge part of the film, though they kept it secret during marketing and never showed it in any trailers. Eggers wanted him to look like a Transylvanian nobleman actually would, which is why he's got that mustache, which was deemed essential, and faithful to the OG source material. Dracula has a mustache in Bram Stoker's original novel.
Count Dracula.
That's awesome.
Dracula.
Eggers designed what he wanted with a lot of sketches and digital paintings, which were brought to life by English effects artist David White. He'd present different sculpts to Eggers, who would mix and match elements to get what he wanted. The prosthetics were extensive, sometimes covering Skarsgård's entire body. On those days, he would sit for 6 hours, as 6 people applied the 62 pieces. Then he'd have to go and film. The relatively easier days were when only his head and hands were exposed. But even then, it took 3 hours, since there were 7 separate pieces on his head alone. Then he had the hair, the mustache, and the fake teeth he wore, which were gnarled and broken instead of being classic vampire fangs. With Thomas tossing and turning, Ellen can't sleep, so she and Anna have a girl's night instead. They snuggle up and Anna gives her a nice little forehead kiss. It's all very sweet until Ellen falls asleep, which is when Orlok slides back into her REM DMs. He tells her they are fated to be together.
Dreams.
You cannot love.
I cannot. Yet I cannot be sated without you.
But she refuses to bounce on it crazy style, saying she loves Thomas and that Orlok took advantage of her.
I was but an innocent child.
This scene is definitely the best supporting text for the groomer interpretation, with Orlok having taken power over Ellen when she was young and didn't know any better.
When she was but a child.
Abhor you.
He warns her that he'll give her 3 nights to change her mind, and this is the first one, so really, she's got 2 nights to change her mind. After that, if she's still not a Nosferatu, he'll kill Thomas. When she wakes up, Ellen finds Anna getting nommed on by plague rats. The plague is spreading all over the city, yielding us 3 bodies to count right now. A guy on the stairs and 2 dudes we see on gurneys in a crowded hallway. Friedrich blames Anna's worsening health on Ellen and her hysterical ways, but she refuses to accept his condescension anymore.
Know your place.
No, wait, why are you blaming her and not the hundreds of thousands of rats that have flooded your city?
facts, madam.
I will not stand by and pretend at your superiority.
I refuse
Why
to
can you not hear
exchange
me?
reproaches with you.
Listen to me.
He kicks the Hutters out of his house, so they're forced to walk past 8 bodies in the streets on the way home. At least, I think 8 bodies. Kinda hard to tell the difference between background bodies and background horseshit sometimes. Just like with Orlok's castle, production couldn't find any real streets that had the authentic period look they wanted. Once again, production designer Craig Lathrop got to work. He and his team built all of Visborg themselves. It was a massive undertaking and a big deal for Eggers and Lathrop, who, like most of the department heads, has been with the director since the beginning and worked on all 3 of his previous films.
You know, we built this tiny farm for the witch, which at the time felt like such an achievement, and here we built 5 city blocks.
They built addressed sets that could be shot from any angle and still look real.
It doesn't take much imagination to be there.
The immersion carried through to the props, with paperwork done by a calligrapher based on actual historical documents. There were even things only the actors could see. Aaron Taylor Johnson said he would open drawers and find handmade letters written from Friedrich to Anna. At home, Thomas tries to tell Ellen about Orlok, but she already knows. She finally tells him about her shame. She became Orlok's lover years ago after her prayers accidentally woke him from his slumber. She thought her love for Thomas would fix everything.
It was you that gave me the courage to be free of my shame.
But Orlok's back to reclaim her now, body and soul. His influence is stronger than ever, as Ellen bounces back and forth between terror and possessed rage. She even scornfully mocks the things her husband has prioritized over her needs.
Well, where is it? Your money, your promotion, your house? Where is that which is so precious to you?
She's driven mad until she and her dress are coming apart at the seams. Her eyes roll back, and her tongue comes out, and she starts rubbing her face against his husband's bulge. Depp really goes all out in this scene, and it's incredibly effective.
I was willing to get freaky and weird.
Yeah,
Ellen
you got freaky and weird, all right.
Says he could never please her like Orlok could, and that finally gets her what she wants. He rises to the challenge and tries to show her why he should be her favorite. She's fucking thrilled about it, and hopes it'll finally shut Orlok up.
Let him see our love.
Unfortunately, the makeup sex is cut short by a lamp-induced seizure, reminding Thomas of the danger they're in. He promises her that he'll go on a heroic Scott pilgrimage and kill her evil ex. Too bad it's too late to save the Hardings, since Orlok's shadow hand puts Friedrich in a supernatural stupor. That means only Anna awakens when their kids start screaming bloody murder, because they're getting bloody murdered. Holy shit,
damn.
He just ate those kids. It's a real sorry sight for Anna, whom Orlok then kills in turn off screen. Everyone attends the triple funeral, complete with the saddest tiny coffins you ever did see. But Friedrich still ain't convinced a vampire is to blame, at least not until Thomas shows him his titty. They go over their plan to kill Orlok in a carriage that passes by at least one dead background body in the street. But Ellen and Von Franz don't have faith in their staking plan, so they make a side plot to bring him down another way. It will require Ellen's sacrifice. She'll let Orlok feed on her until the sun rises and kills him. Von Franz accepts the reality with a heavy heart, since he truly has a love and respect for Ellen.
In heathen times, you might have been a great priestess of Isis. Yet, in this strange and modern world, your purpose is of greater worth.
Von Franz agrees to distract Thomas with a wild vamp chase. He leaves Ellen, who sees 4 caskets carried in the street past 3 bodies, adding 7 to our count. We added casket kills in the original, so we're gonna be consistent here. Night comes, but the Orlok hunting party is incomplete, since Friedrich's nowhere to be found. Thomas and the doctors passed 8 more bodies in the street as they set out to search for him. Damn, dude.
So many
I didn't think
plague bodies.
Nosferatu would be so fucking purge-like. Friedrich has gone to his wife's grave, and he's not necro-feeling too good right now. He lays down with the corpse.
He's got
and
some
has
plague
joined her
as well.
in death by time the other men find him there. And also, he's between her legs, so not sure if he was trying to fuck that corpse. They set fire to the bodies
Move
and
the
leave
hell
to
away
pay
from that.
Orlok a house call. This shot showcases the movie's incredible digital effects done by Angela Barson and her team at Blue Bolt. Everything besides the boat and the actors is CG, something Eggers tried to avoid as much as possible. The only other fully CG environment was outside the monastery as Thomas rides away. But there was still a lot of VFX work throughout the movie, usually done to enhance the practical elements.
It should feel like it could have been done practically.
They would adjust blood effects that were filmed on set, add ships to the background of coastal shots, and extend the amazing city sets upward and outward. They also replaced the dummy pigeon with a digital one when Canuck bit its head off.
You're not allowed to bite the head off a pigeon, apparently, so we had to do that.
The wolves weren't digital, though. They were real trained animals, which scared Holt when he tripped during a take when running from them. They had to film the real wolves separate from the real horses, so the horses wouldn't get spooked. VFX came in handy here, taking these separate real elements and merging them into the same shot. They get to Castle Orlok, open the coffin, and stake the body inside, only to discover that it's Air Canuck, I guess keeping his master's bed warm or something. Whatever, doesn't stop Von Franz from finishing the little weirdo off. Von Franz admits to Thomas about his and Ellen's plan this whole time. Thomas runs off to save his wife as the occultist gets to burning down the house.
Redemption! The blade shall be lifted!
Oh, he's hitting wood. Oh! He dude literally has a gas can! Oh, well, I guess technically it would be an oil can.
It's filled with rats on rats. Literally, vacuum-formed rat mats filled out the scene and made it look absolutely rat-packed. Ellen has dressed in bridal white for her vampiric vow renewal.
I bid you, come to me.
She binds herself to him as his lover once more, willfully, so he may kiss the bride. God, he must smell so bad. Ellen takes Orlok to bed as Thomas runs home, hoping to stop them from consummating their unholy union. But it's too late. They're already fucking and sucking. And goddamn, Orlok's a messy eater. Stop wasting all that blood, dude. She's dying over here. Before long, the cock crows. A rooster, that is, signaling morning's arrival as sun streams in through the window. I don't think Ellen ever looks more satisfied than this. The moment she finally takes back her power over Orlok. She's grabbed his face and is all like, I gotcha, bitch! It's an ending similar to the original, which saw Orlok disintegrate into a pile of dust. This time through, it's much more graphic, as blood pours from his mouth and eyes as he roars in pain, then collapses on top of Ellen. Man, that Mort was not very petite. Thomas rushes to Ellen's bedside, but it's too late.
Make it, yep.
She's already dead.
Yeah,
he shuts her eyes and bids his wife goodbye. The movie ends with a grotesquely beautiful shot of Ellen and Orlok's bodies in bed together, surrounded by lilacs.
That is
Did this Nosferatu have more kills than the original? Let's find out and get to the final numbers of 2025. It's done. It is done.
Hold on. Gonna check something real quick. James, this came out 2 days ago at the time of recording, so you're kind of a little late to finish off 2025. But shit happens, we know, so let's just move on and say this was the last kill count of 2025.
Dark bond with the algorithm beast is broken! For when the sun's pure light shall break upon the channel, redemption! The claims shall be lifted! Redemption!
Yeah, I flipped us back.
We counted 44 kills in Nosferatu, with the victims consisting of 18 men, 6 women or girls, and 20 unknown, giving us this plague-ridden pie chart.
Plague pie.
That's 27 more than the original film, which didn't have plague victims all over the place. With a runtime of 132 minutes, we had a kill on average every 3 minutes even. Wow. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for cool skill to Count Orlok. They spent a lot of time trying to determine the right amount of blood coming out of his face, and I think they nailed it. It looks disgusting and horrific. Dome Machete for lamest kill could go to all those plague bodies, but I'll actually give it to Anna, a prominent character consigned to an off-screen death. And that's it. Nosferatu was released in 2024, reintroducing Count Orlok into popular culture. It's a great movie and a great choice for our final episode of 2025. So until next year, I'm James A. Janice. It's been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this kill count for Nosferatu. Yes, this is our final kill count of the year. I'm sorry, I wanted to fit one more in, but it just wasn't in the cards. I know there was a lot of rescheduling and delays this year. Part of that was due to the length of the episodes. If you'll notice, a lot of episodes this year were in the 35 to 40, 45 minute range. That's basically doing 2 kill counts, but at once, and it's a lot of stress on the editors and just our whole workflow. So that slowed things down, and then just a lot more copyright claims, dude, and further age restrictions that we then have to, go back and blur more stuff, re-export, re-upload, and when the episode—
Oh, wait a minute. And I was just checking here to see what the next one would be, and so far, though, there wasn't anything. Huh. So, you know what? I'll let James talk it out.
Episodes are longer, go ahead. That all takes longer. So just a lot of delays, and I'm sorry. I really wish that we could have been more consistent, but I think that the episodes we made were really good. And as for next year, there won't be any kill counts in January, and then we'll see what we're doing for the rest of the year. But in April, it'll be 9 years, meaning we will begin our 10th year of kill counts. And I'm hoping that we can do something special for that 10th year. I mean, we owe it to you, the fans, and to our patrons like YourRead07, Theodore.
So that's actually what they got planned. Nothing for January. That's why this one actually came out so late. They'll be hopping back into it in February, and April will mark the beginning of the 10th year of Kill Count. Of Dead Meat. Wow. Alright everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.